Good evening and welcome to Alum Rock Christian Church in San Jose, California. We are about to start the season which we call Advent, or the preparation for the coming of the Lord. For the next 25 evenings, we are going to share with you a reflection by Allison Pittman in her book, a wonderful book called Keeping Christmas. And in this book, Allison compares the transformation of Ebenezer Scrooge into a new man to the transformation that we all have as Christians when we believe in Jesus Christ. So we hope that you will tune in every night and watch this with us. If you make a comment on YouTube or Facebook to let us know that you were there, and if you watch all 25 presentations, we would like to send you a free copy of this great book by Allison Pittman called Keeping Christmas. So we hope that you'll share it with your friends and join in every night for this great reflection as we get our hearts ready for the coming of Christmas. On our Advent calendar this evening for December the 7th, we have an angel. And when at last they saw the baby boy, the angels' hearts are filled with joy. Good evening and welcome to our Advent reflection, Keeping Christmas by Allison Pittman. Tonight we are going to look at chapter 7, Old Fezziwig. Years ago, sometime midsummer, my husband Mikey and I posed a question at the dinner table to our 3 boys. What did you get for Christmas last year? We left unspoken, all the things that consumed our budget, all the doodads that sent us into screaming fights about priorities and luxuries and all the stuff. The twins were 12 years old, the youngest 8. They just sort of stared at us thinking, Sega? No, that was your birthday. Bikes? No, that was the Christmas before. Legos? Well, obviously, every year. And so, we said in triumph, this year, no gifts, none. Instead, one of us jumped up before the howling could commence. We're going to Disneyland because memories last forever. Let me just say that Christmas at Disneyland is not for the faint of heart. You have to really love you some Christmas to stomach it. Garland everywhere, tinsel everywhere. All the characters wear tacky sweaters and zippy carols stream from all the speakers hidden in the rocks and the pathways and the lands. The most egregious display, if indeed Christmas decorations can be so egregious, is in the Small World ride. It's a Small World is my hands-down favorite Disney experience. All the little dolls, the dancing and the song. The song at Christmas, though, the song is switched to an overlapping medley of It's a Small World and Jingle Bells. Moreover, all the dolls are stripped off their particular color and dressed in white. The overall effect set me, a lover of Christmas, on bitter edge. It seemed intrusive to watch the entire small world in Christmas spirit, knowing full well that it's the large world. Some countries don't celebrate Christmas at all. Are they all supposed to be dead? My youngest son asked. And are we in like small world heaven? Thus, I've given up ideas of going to Disneyland at Christmas again. Bringing to mind this question, if, as Christians, we celebrate Christmas as a time to acknowledge and worship Christ, is it possible to celebrate it too much? To worship too much? We've managed to build our nation's economy on a resounding no. But Jesus, Matthew records a few worship guidelines in chapter 6, for example. Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others or to be seen by them. When you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets, to be honored by others. For purposes of argument, let's take the verbs celebrate and worship out of the question and gift ourselves with a whole new verb, Christmas. Back to the question, can we Christmas too much? Once Ebenezer is rescued from the loneliness of a Christmas away at school, the ghost of Christmas past takes him to a place every 20-something-year-old longs to be, his job. It is the prime of Scrooge's life, and he's gainfully and happily apprenticed at a warehouse overseen by old Fezziwig. A century and a half later, Jim Henson's Muppet Fozzie the Bear would play the role of Fezziwig, which I think is one of Dickens' best moments of foresight. Old Fezziwig puts on the company Christmas party to end all company Christmas parties. His Christmas is like no one has ever Christmased before. The warehouse was snug and warm and dry and bright as a ballroom, as you would desire to see upon a winter's night. In came a fiddler with a music book. There were more dancers, and there were forfeits and more dancers, and there was cake, and there was negus, and there was a great piece of cold roast, and there was a great piece of cold boiled, and there were mince pies and plenty of beer. Granted, this wouldn't have been a perfect work Christmas party for me. I teach at a small private Southern Baptist Christian school, so dancing would be out, even if the faculty women didn't outnumber the men 23-1. But I do like cake, and a quick Google of the word negus makes it sound appealing. I've eaten enough mid-priced catered chicken meals to appreciate a piece of cold broiled, and I'll let you all search your hearts about the beer. Still, by all standards, a rousing way to celebrate the season. To Christmas, one would think the warmth of Fezziwig's hospitality, not to mention the positive light that appeared to issue from Fezziwig's calves, would have an impact on Scrooge. Having come from a childhood in which Christmas was gray and lonely, a cold affair, why would this blazing, fiddling, eating, and dancing shindig not lodge in his heart and inspire him to keep Christmas? The invisible Scrooge acted like a man out of his wits. His heart and soul were in the scene and with his former self. He corroborated everything, remembered everything. The ghost points out that it was indeed a small matter to make these silly folks so full of gratitude. And Scrooge agrees it was a small matter, music, food, and laughter. But the small matter didn't allow Christmas to take root in Scrooge, because those aren't the matters that root us in Christ. These are the trimmings of Christmas, tinsel draped on the branches of rootless trees. They are an annoyance to Scrooge because they hold no meaning for him. Fezziwig's party conforms to the pattern of the world. Scrooge needs to be transformed by the renewing of his mind, Romans 12:2. Now, I have no reason to doubt Fezziwig's heart, or Mrs. Fezziwig's, the lucky woman. He appears a kind and generous man, extending hospitality and fellowship in the name of Christ. There's no reason to think that Christ is not treasured in his heart, but his party, all the food, the lights, the music, these are earthly treasure. And for Scrooge at least, we know that they eventually rusted. Moths of miserlessness ate most of them, and the rest were stolen away. I hope you'll join us tomorrow for chapter 8. Good night, and God bless.